Here we are, we're in the fall of the year. It's right at October the 1st. It's pretty hot, but yet still it's the fall. And a great pattern for in the fall is dock fishing. And this is kind of the way I break docks down. I don't, until the water temperature starts dropping, I really don't like fishing docks that are on rocks. Like they're around rocks. I like to fish docks that are on sand and mud, because during the summertime those fish do not like to be on those rocks during the daytime, because it gathers heat and holds heat. So they want to be something a little bit cooler. So docks create shade, plus the ones on the mud and the sand, it's a lot cooler. The bottom's a lot cooler, so it sets up for them to stay cooler, and it gives them a source of shade and an ambush point. So, and the same thing with the bait fish. The bait fish are going to come around docks that are, you know, that for the shade and stuff. There'll be a lot of bluegill, a lot of shad, crawfish even. So, I like to keep it old school. I'm flipping a 4.25 Zoom flipping tube with a just straight green pumpkin. The water's pretty clear. I got a 5/16 ounce range weight green pumpkin, and I got it on a 22-pound Sunline shooter, and I got a TK Trocar TK 190 hook, which is the only time I use this hook is actually for flipping a tube. That's the only application I use for this hook, and it's really compact, keeps the hook in the tube like you need it. And I like to tie a snail knot. I'm throwing it on a PAL 795 Endurance flipping rod with a Lew's Custom Pro 8.5-to-1. And what I like to do is in the falls, I like to start out shallow and work my way deep. And once you get bit on a dock, say you get bit on the walkway, pretty much the rest of the day, that's where you're going to get bit at, on the walkway. You need to distinguish, you know, how deep of water it was in. Was it in 2 foot? Was it in 3 foot? Was it in 5-6 foot? So that's the whole. It's going to be a depth thing more than it is anything. So you want to concentrate on those depths throughout the day. If it's out on the end of the dock and say 5 or 6, typically the rest of the day, that's where the fish are going to be located at. So here we have a dock. I'm actually watching on my Live Sight transducer from Lowrance. This is pretty much a game changer too for me, because I can actually see. I see every one of those posts right now, and I can tell if there's a fish. Like just then, there was a fish just swam underneath my boat. It's a good thing and a bad thing, because it becomes a bad thing when you can see the fish and you can't get them to bite. But at least it lets you know that there's a fish under there. And likewise, where there's a dock that there's not a fish underneath it. And anytime a dock has a little bit of brush underneath of it, it's a lot better than just a straight dock. But a straight dock can be good, it's just as good. Straight dock post. And I like driven posts. I'm not a big floating dock fan this time of year. I like the wooden post, and the older the dock is, the better it is too. Yeah, it's a Tennessee River. It's just like anything else you fish here on the Tennessee River. There'll be a period of time when, when they start running the water the right way, you may be in there early in the morning, and they're not really tight to the dock. They may be, out around it. But it seems like the later in the day it is, the better the docks are. Usually I'll start out doing something early in the morning, top water wise, and then I'll switch over just to running docks when it gets, 10 o'clock-ish or so, when the sun gets up pretty good. So, and there's certain docks that I always catch fish on here at this lake, and it's just sometimes you may have to hit it 2 or 3 times before you catch one. I missed one there a minute ago, but we may come back here 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes later and get bit good, catch one. So there's usually multiple fish on this dock. I usually don't just catch one off a dock like this. It's kind of an isolated dock on a sand flat. It's got about 10 to 12 foot of water on the end of it, and probably 2 foot up here on the base of it. The thing about dock fishing is too, is that I would rather fish more isolated docks, because if you just get on a row of docks, you just don't. It's hard to pinpoint your target, and you got multiple targets, so you got to fish a bunch of them before you get bit. Whereas, if you get on an isolated dock pattern, you can pull that dock, fish it pretty efficiently, and then get out there and go to the next one. Whereas if you just go down a row of docks, it takes up a lot of time. and they're, you know, they could hide, they could, you know, instead of just being on one dock, they could be on, you know, they got their options of being on 10 or 15 docks. So isolated docks are way better than just a string of docks too. There he is. Look at there, Mr. Spotted Bass. Took us a while, but we got one. Old limit filler is what that is. Old schooling. Old schooling with a big zoom tube and a range weight. There he is. Hey, I like pitching off the left side more than I do the right side. So I like to fish my strength side, you know what I mean? Like I can do either hand, but my strength side is my left side, going down the left side of the boat. So like that last one was in about 5 to 6 foot of water, about halfway down the dock. So if it holds true, there should be one here in 5 to 6 foot of water. Well, technology has come so far. I can't wait till the day they got one that you can look and see, like, yeah, it's a largemouth. It's a 5-pounder. I'm gonna fish for it. That won't help me. Oh wait, it weighs a pounder better. Yes, it. God, he broke me off. Dude, he had me over all 3 of them bars. Did you hear it grinding? Look, he frayed me. Look how far up my line. I don't care what kind of line you got. I don't care if you got braid, whatever. When you get one of them big old spots, 3 or 4 pounders over a cross member, that's what it'll do to you right there. That's a nice one.